Welcome everyone to the Elite Series League of Legends Division 2 tonight. Sorry? Okay. And on my side I got the wonderful Freshtana, of course.
Hello
Freshtana,
guys.
how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. I had a little heart attack because you didn't know how to write my name, but that's fine. That's fine. We just work for like 3 years from now, but he doesn't know how to write my name. It's amazing. Nice to be here.
Okay, that's a bit unfair. Okay, he is talking not about his name, not the name you can see there on the screen. He's talking about his summoner name, which has 3 letters more. And I was just not sure about how exactly to write it.
No, it really gave me a heart attack. I couldn't almost not pass this game. But now I'm here. Now we will do our best to present you guys the best broadcast in the East, or no, in the West, in the Elite Series lol. We will have a wonderful match day, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the upcoming games, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Let's bring up the schedule and see what this day has in the package for us. The first game will be between AURORA and PERTINAX. Certainly a very important game for PERTINAX, as they are still in the one for that playoffs spot. Then we have the game between Once Upon a Team and with Slovs. It's actually the first time in the entire circuit that these two teams meet. But I think from both their points and the standings, we can already kind of guess how that game will go, but we are always up for a surprise. Then we will not see it Adverse versus AURORA Esports, because Adverse, of course, has been kicked from the league, has resigned their spot because they are not able to have a roster ready, unfortunately, anymore. So yeah, AURORA Esports gets the free win there, and then as the last game of the day, we will see Reapers Gaming versus Dynasty. In my opinion, also very interesting game, probably game of the day. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely the game of the day. Just because if we just look at those 3 matchups, I think we can at least predict a little bit of the match day with Rift against Once Upon a Team. Should be a win for Rift. If you want to bet, then probably on Rift. But I mean, Once Upon a Team, if they get at least 1 win here, maybe 1 win at the next match day as well, there's maybe a chance for them still clutching it out, but it will be rough. It will be rough. But then of course there's PERTINAX against AURORA, and just from the standings, both teams are really close. Just 1 win, just splitting them apart, and especially it's important for PERTINAX to get a win here, because they would really like to get into the playoffs. And now, because they lost last week's game, last Wednesday's game, Reapers is now 1 game ahead of them. So winning today is really important, and then hoping for Dynasty to win is important for PERTINAX as well. And if both happens, then they are on the exactly same points. So everything could shift today, or Reapers maybe could make a really huge jump in the bracket, because if they win and PERTINAX loses, that could be it for the playoffs. So it's definitely one of our most important matches of this day. And then of course we have the whole thing once again for next week, because then there are the same match days like this day with PERTINAX AURORA and Rift Once Upon a Team and Dynasty Reaper. So we will see the rematch 1 week later, and so those 2 days definitely are the most important days for the whole playoffs run, because either PERTINAX or Reapers can clutch it out, and we need to see who will do that in the end.
Yeah, and I think I mean that's a bold prediction of myself, but I think PERTINAX PERTINAX is in a better spot.
No, Reapers. Reapers is in a better spot. Reapers is
You
1
think so?
point
Because
ahead.
Reapers is 1 point ahead, but they have the tougher games because
Yeah.
they are going to play against Dynasty today. They are going to play against Dynasty next Wednesday. Because, by the way, guys, the match day we are going to see today, next Wednesday, it's going to be exactly the same because it is the match day that we kind of skipped from round 1 during the first week. So it's going to be exactly the same one. And I'm just going to quickly finish my thought, and then we are going to talk about the champ select. So yeah, Reapers has the tougher opponents, in my opinion, because they are going to play Dynasty twice, and then they play Aurora. Meanwhile, Pertinex gets to play Aurora twice, and then they play,
Once Upon
I
a Team.
think, Once Upon a Team. So they have arguably the much easier games ahead of them, and probably 3 wins, because if you look at it, Aurora has 4 wins, but 2 of them are the 3 wins they got from Adverse because they left. And the other 2 are against Once Upon a Team. They haven't been able to beat any of the stronger teams so far, and Pertinex has already shown quite often how strong they are, so I don't think they will lose one of these games. Meanwhile, for Reapers to lose against Dynasty, the chance is definitely there.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, Reapers has a start head into this battle for the playoffs, but I think Pertinex has the better games to make it in the end. But we will see, and with that, we are going to start into the champ select of this first game of today, Aurora against Pertinex.
Yeah. And do you know what amazing, what we have here? There are 2 amazing bands against Taxu. The Kled he already played once, and the Viego he already played once. So this guy in the mid lane is kind of like a magician, like Merlin is, because he definitely knows some little comfort picks in the mid lane, which nobody plays. So just spending them out to have a better time in the mid lane definitely makes sense. I really like this draft updation. And then, of course, we have just some standard meta buns right now. And with that, Sejuani was open, so we will have a Sejuani first pick, which is quite standard at the moment. Still a flex pick, of course. And there could be Kragas Sire, and Kragas, especially like as a flex pick, is really, really strong right now. Often played in the mid lane or top lane. You could still play in jungle and support as well, so just starting with Kragas always makes sense. And I really like it, especially in the tank matchup against Sejuani. He will be doing fine. Then, of course, he always has some great engage and disengage. And with Sire, you have one of the best ADCs on this patch right now.
Yeah, definitely. I find the Gragas quite the interesting pick as well, because I think there would have been other higher priority picks in the meta open. But of course, as you said, what Gragas brings to the team is just this flexibility. You can play him jungle, you can play him mid lane, you can play in top lane. And especially top lane, I think he's currently very strong. So yeah, very nice elements there added by Pertinex. On the other hand, we will see an Aphelios. So quite the hyper carry Aurora is going for here, and it will be added up with a trash. So yeah, an aggressive support, but with a lot of disengage and also defensive tools. But of course not exactly the enchanter helping support that you normally pick within hyper carry.
Yeah. And then there's probably Merlin's chase, but we need to see if they might flex it to the top lane. I think we saw Merlin's chase last match day, and it didn't work out for them. They lost the game, and the chase didn't really snowball. So I'm quite excited to see it again. Maybe it was just a fluke, and they just want to try it again. But with Chase, they're already on a small timer at least. I mean, Chase is strong in the late game, and we saw it with Bukan twice, so you can play a really strong Chase in the late game, but it's difficult. So they have set up like a little bit more early game with that, and especially to pressure maybe the bot lane with some roams for some shock blasts definitely makes sense. And Aphelios Thresh, just a neat little combo in itself, because Aphelios really unmobile, and then with Thresh Lantern you have like a really safe lane and stuff. So I quite like the scaling from Aurora, but of course they need to get to the scaling point, and that could be quite difficult against PERTINAX. which often really surprises us, and especially like the series against Rift Slots, where they did 2 clutch comebacks, was amazing. So PERTINAX definitely knows how to play this game, and yeah, I really want to see what they try to pick up in the bot lane.
Have you been playing CS:GO lately? You're using the word clutch a little too often, I
Yeah.
feel like.
No,
no, but I'm a little bit surprised that PERTINAX are the ones banning the Akali here. Because my thought was when they picked the Jace that they might want to keep that Akali open for Merlin, so they still have the possibility to flex the Jace to the top lane and maybe give Akali to him in the end. But apparently they have decided for themselves that they don't want to see an Akali this game. So yeah, Merlin will see definitely something new from him, because he has been really shining on that Akali. But yeah, of course, Sejuani and Trash and now the Annie are of course not exactly what you wish for with an assassin. So maybe that's also a good call here. And we will see a Blitzcrank, so also very aggressive support here for the bot lane, which I think doesn't play into the hands of the Aphelios too much.
yeah. Blitzcrank really helps to get to the Aphelios, of course, because normally he gets just peeled away with the Thresh. So, but in this case, if you just took him, he can't get out from your team. But like I see a big problem there with like Annie and with like Aatrox and even Sejuani. You don't really want to hook them into your team. I mean, hooking an Annie with tippers into your team will hurt yourself. So it could be dangerous. And Blitzcrank always has like a wild card pick. Either you have a really strong Blitzcrank player and he just finds everything in hook, or you just have like a walking cannon minion. It's really he really needs to play it correctly to have a big impact, and that could be maybe difficult. In the end, we definitely had a flex pick with the chase to the top lane, so Dazzletrop will play him while Merlin plays a mage, and like from his name, he is a mage already, so kind of a little bit of a synergy there. But now, when we see both team comps, who won the draft in your opinion?
I don't know. I think. I mean, I personally prefer Aurora's draft because they have the hyper carry. They have this beautiful classic team comp. They have a lot of CC, like with the Sejuani, with the Trash, with the Annie. There's so much also hard CC, like stunts and everything. That's just beautiful in my opinion. But I think PERTINAX has a team comp that fits their playstyle. And just because they're also, I think, on like the individual level, the better players, they're probably going to take this away. And you talked before about it. Of course, the Blitzcrank has this problem that he cannot hook everybody on this team. But I think that's not important because it's not what Blitzcrank is there for. I think Blitzcrank is there to win the bot lane for PERTINAX. Maybe there will also be 1 or 2 ganks, and then the Xayah will be ahead, and that will just be their snowball to win this game.
Okay, so you give it to PERTINAX?
I mean, the draft, I prefer the draft of Aurora, but I will give the game still to PERTINAX, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think the draft is a big problem for PERTINAX, and I would even see the game in the hands of Aurora just because it's way easier to play. And like if you just see the engage of PERTINAX, like yeah, you have a Kragas, but usually if he is the only guy to engage, then it's quite hard because you really need to hit your barrel combo, maybe even flash barrel combo to just pick out one target, and then you have your Blitzcrank. So the engage is really lacking a little bit. And then like you have a poke champion and then an anti-dive champion with the Xayah. So basically one so they don't really like have the same playstyle, and you have a Victor, so you have lots of scaling, but not really the best early game. I mean, Chase on top lane is there, but I don't really see like the synergy in the draft of PERTINAX. I believe that that Aurora definitely like drafted like the red string into their team comp, if you could say so. And I think it's way easier to engage with flash tippers and stun multiple things, or just go in with your Sejuani and just hit someone. And especially like if you just hit the chase, you can just kill him. If you hit the Victor, you can just kill him. There's not really someone who can really tank this Sejuani bowler into any, so it's easier to play.
Yeah, and with that, everyone, we are going into this game between AURORA Gaming and PERTINAX Esports. It's the first game of this day, of course, and yeah, both teams settling in here. PERTINAX is trying for a quick early play here, of course, trying to profit of that Blitzcrank hook right away, but fortunately for PERTINAX, Lawn was not in that bush. Fortunately for AURORA, so.
Yeah. And what I want to mention in this game is that top lane is really explosive, just because there's a Chase. So usually Chase wants to get at least some attention from his team, just because he is an early game bully champion. And then there's Aatrox, and if Aatrox gets a small lead in this matchup, it's basically unplayable for Chase. So he can always just get dunked on by this Aatrox. So, and especially with Sejuani, you have plenty of ganking room to really just try to help your Aatrox. And after Aatrox gets fed, like there's no way to win a team fight against him, especially with the Blitzcrank who maybe even hooks him in. So that could be quite dangerous if this Aatrox gets fed.
Yeah. I mean, it's of course a classic melee versus range setup, so I think in the lane, yeah, there's the advantage for the Jace that you can always poke him and kind of keep a distance to Aatrox. But I totally agree that this top lane can become very dangerous for Dusseldorp.
Yeah, and if you already see like both mid laners tempt to go for the Ghost, so you could even see some roams from them, just because you can always just proc your Ghost and try to follow the other roamer, or even just try to be a little bit faster in those skirmishes, especially on Annie. Like it's for her, it's more like for the engage to get in range for the tippers, and for Victor is more the defensive opportunities to get out of team fights, to kite in, to kite out. So I quite like that both go for the Ghost, but it makes them both like less mobile in terms of normally you really want your teleport, for example, on Victor, just to go more on side lanes and stuff. So that already tells us that both teams maybe want to play a little bit more of this 4v4 setup, with just the split pusher having a teleport.
Yeah. And to be honest, it's a little bit surprising to me that Merlin doesn't go for the TP, because IMO it would fit better into the PERTINAX team comp to have that TP and to make sure that in the early game doing ganks and stuff like that, you can make can have that advantage of one person more. But then of course the early game TP has been nerfed, so
That's true.
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Also had first little hook there on the bot lane, where that bot lane of PERTINAX can already show, or could already show a little bit what they are capable of, but of course not too much happening just yet.
Yeah,
so far.
What I really like about Bondo, if we could just briefly talk about him, like this Danish support just came new into PERTINAX, so they just signed him like recently as the new starting support. And Makala needs to be safe, but nothing should happen. And like he replaces Legend of Lex or Legend of Leaks, I don't know. And but he is a Bard player, and what I really like about Bard players is like they know when to roam, where to roam, and they know how to like place a really good well-timed stun and really good well-timed ultimate. And both of that is really important as a Blitzcrank as well, especially like knowing when to roam and on when to land a hook. Like those skill shots on Bard are really hard to land on Blitzcrank as well. So because of his Bard skill, he's probably a good Blitzcrank as well. But he needs to show that, because actually in solo queue he doesn't play a lot of Blitzcrank, so that could flop if he doesn't like land those crucial hooks.
Yeah, and I think that feeling for Worms might still be there. Now we have a skirmish in the mid lane here. Tibbers is however coming up. This is not looking good for Merlin, who is fleeing behind his own tower. Does manage to do so. And we have Gragas and Blitzcrank joining in the mid lane, but Annie is already safe.
And I don't know if you saw it, but that was so well played by Haxu, because both just had level 5, and Merlin saw that, okay, he is slow, he can ghost in, and then you just saw that Haxu tried to kill this last little minion, because Haxu knew he will get level 6 with that, so he just queued the minion instead of Merlin, got the Tibbers, placed the Tibbers, and that was the moment where Merlin needed to flash, because he knew, okay, I can't win against Tipper, so he flashed out. But it was so well played by Haxu just to know, I get level 6 soon, I just need to kill this one minion, and he did it, so really well played by Haxu there.
Yeah, I totally agree. Also, Sejuani now coming to the mid lane. Oh, not now, but before coming to the mid lane, but nothing happened there. So far the game a bit calmer now. First Drake will be a Cloud Drake, and with that, the first objective on the map. However, both teams not too interested yet. We have Makala now going towards it there.
And you can already...
Oh. Ooh, and now the gank here on the mid lane. Broda is there, Merlin already very low. Makala is of course around the corner, but will that be enough? He deals a lot of damage to Hux, but Broda is of course still there as well. That's going to be first blood for the Sejuani as the PERTINAX bot lane is joining in as well. Broda now on the one here. Maybe that will be the first kill for the Xayah here. Is going to flash behind to secure it. And that's going to be a 1v1, 1-for-1 trade then for both teams here.
Yeah, and what a close one, because of the gravity field. Because of that, Broda couldn't get this last auto attack in to proc the stun, to proc the damage of the stun, and after that the stacks went off, so he needed to flash with the W to secure the kill, but with that he was way too deep and got killed there.
A bit of action there on the top lane, but so far it has been a very top lane like matchup still, even though both champions can of course play very aggressively. Maybe now a little bit more damage there. Dusseldorf still showing up confident there, but Haxu is around the corner with the Tibbers and a flash up, and that's going to be the kill for him. Flashes in, classic Flash Annie Tibbers combo.
Yeah, well played.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, and especially like you can already see that Dusseldorf is like struggling in this matchup. I mean, he isn't even ahead in CS anymore, so in a range versus melee matchup, if you can't like secure at least the CS lead on your opponent, like you just lost, because the melee champion is always stronger and the 1v1 is always stronger like in those all-ins, and the range champion really needs to poke him down, really needs to like make him really small and just unable to fight. And in this case, you already kinda lost this lane almost, so and that's not really good if you like if you play chase, if you can't even secure early lead.
Ooh, hook there from the aggressive PERTINAX bot lane as they're counter jungling there and going to take the kill on Trash.
Yeah.
And yeah, just one thing I wanted to quickly mention as we are talking about Dusseldorf and the top lane. I think I saw a tweet this week from Dusseldorf actually, where he said that he's very disappointed with his performance lately, both in solo queue and competitive games. Now we can see him again here on the top lane playing a little bit around with Artbox. Meanwhile on the bot lane, the next action going in, PERTINAX showing real dominance now on that bot lane. Going in so deep. Broda is there however now, and of course their bot lane tier 1 tower is still standing. That ultimate that could be devastating. Trash Hook unfortunately is not hitting there as Haxu is coming in. Nice double stun there on Brodo and Makula as Whippo is able to get the kill there on Sejuani, and PERTINAX once again is turning this around, gets Haxu there as well. Nothing goes right for AURORA in this early game, as they get taken apart there on the bot lane, even though they should have had the upper hand.
Yeah, and that's like a huge play there from PERTINAX. First of all, they started with those cross-map plays, just invading the jungle because they knew that Broda is on the Herald. So they just did a little cross-map play, got a kill from that. And because of this kill on Mirai, they could just set up this like little trap, this like little cheese trap on the bot lane to just catch him again, or catch the ADC in the 1v3. And then it was really unfortunate for Broda that he couldn't even secure the kill on Kiro there, who just really placed himself on a good spot to then just draw the feathers and just kill him in one E. So that was really amazing to hit this plate caller and secure the kill. And now the Xayah is just 3-0, and it's really difficult to hit her later because he can always dodge the hook or the Sejuani bowler with his own ultimate.
Yeah, now the dive again on Dusseldrop there on the top lane. Broda is there, Haxu is going to join in as well, has his stun still up. Merlin, however, there now to help his top laner out. And Makala is also on the way, so it's going to be a proper 3v3 now. There's going to be the stun on Merlin. However, Makala joins in to secure him. And Broda very low now. Aatrox joining in into the backline there, tries to get Merlin while Dusseldrop is going after Haxu and Broda. But Tibbers is a dangerous bear for him, and is going to get the kill there as well, as both Haxu and Broda get away for now.
Oh, Merlin could still reach him with the laser. It's not.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough though. The ultimate ticking, and it's going to be a kill for Merlin still. And he could have played this more defensively. She would just have won back to the tower immediately.
And I think one thing you definitely see in those fights, that AURORA isn't on the same page as a team, as a whole. But first of all, Merlin is maybe in trouble and will get killed by Broda, so there's no coming out big shutdown for Sejuani. But like in the teamfights, you saw that Broda and Haxu, this engage on Merlin, this like dropping the Tibbers and then dropping like the ice bowler on him, was really not synchron. So you saw that Broda hesitated, he wanted to get out, and Haxu just placed the Tibbers, and then they needed to engage, but then it was a 2v3, so they couldn't burst Merlin because there was no damage, and then like they had no minions under the turret, so the turret even fired to them, and in the end like Tibbers really carried them to kill Dusseldrop there, and they didn't die, but it was still like they just didn't commit it to the same play, and that was really crucial.
AURORA really has something against Dusseldrop as they go in after him once again here on the top lane, taking apart the poor top laner here from PERTINAX. Meanwhile, PERTINAX cross map pushing the mid lane, getting one turret plating after the other here with Cairo.
Yeah.
Bot lane, of course, having rotated now to the mid lane, get more pressure on the map. Gragas is going to secure the dragon. Yeah, AURORA really clamping themselves to that top lane that they are winning.
Yeah, the big problem is that Octimalis doesn't get anything from this babysit. So he just got one single assist and like 2 kills, I think, for the Sejuani, 1 kill for the Annie or something. So the help they try to give him doesn't really benefit him right now. I mean, yeah, he got a little bit of CS out of that, maybe even 1 or 2 platings. But like, if he would gotten all 3 kills, or maybe even just 2, or just all 3 assists, then he might have a bigger lead on this chase, and would be a win condition. But with just this little lead that he has, he will not really be like this big win condition on the sideline.
At least not yet, as PERTINAX is going after Haxu here on the bot lane. Nice barrel there. Might get a little bit more damage out, but Annie is going to be safe, of course. With the shield, the speed boost is enough to get out of the ultimate there. And then no kill coming from that dive here. And
yeah, little misplay, because Bondo still has Ignite, so they could have easily gotten her there. I mean, with 3 people, if you would just commit like 2 ultimates on an Annie with 3 people, she should die, but she didn't. So really, like a little misplay there from Bondo, sadly. I mean, in the end, it would just been 1 kill for still a lot of resources, but it would be 1 kill. So at least something. At the moment, 2k gold for PERTINAX, so they are still ahead, but they make just some little mistakes at least.
yeah, I think that's true for both teams though. Like we had like on the play on top lane before, we had the Annie not getting into safety, then we had Merlin overstaying, now we have Bondo missing the ignite. Like there's a lot of like little mistakes that just show that the teams are not fully concentrated and not at the best of their game right here, unfortunately. But the game is of course still very close. Like 2k is a small gold lead, and 2 dragons is a little bit a bigger one. But now we have another kill here on the mid lane as Aphelios is getting hooked there by Bondo. That's of course the danger of a Blitzcrank, and exactly the target we talked about that he wants to find.
And in the end, he even got out the heal of Aphelios, so was a good CC chain there. And now again the 3v1 against Haxu.
Ooh, nice dive there on the bot lane as Annie get caught once again, and now PERTINAX ramping up that speed a little bit for themselves here.
Yeah, just as question, on which minute are you right now? Like what is the timer?
16:49.
Okay.
50,
Okay.
51.
Okay.
Why?
No, nothing. The spot lane dive like on Annie was like. Anyway, nothing.
I reacted a bit slow.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't know. No problem. I just thought maybe my stream is lagging or your stream is lagging. Anyway. Yeah, like 3rd Drake, which usually is like the Drake for the soul point. So in 1 minute we could maybe see like a big fight, just that you don't want to give away the soul point Drake, because then you are really in trouble, because after the 3rd Drake you need to fight every single Drake, and you might not get into the position to fight one of them, and then it's just lost against the soul. So it's really important for AURORA to know, maybe get some vision around the Drake, to maybe get the setup to maybe fight it. But it could be really dangerous against Creo, whereas 2 are fully items now. So the Saya is really huge.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the biggest threat on the end of PERTINAX here. And probably also, if you could take a quick look at the gold, but I think most of that gold difference is definitely on the Xayah. Here we can see it as both teams are also there in the jungle. And yeah, it's almost a 3k gold lead on Xayah, so all the gold lead there. Now missed ultimate there by Sejuani. That would have been a beautiful engage there for AURORA.
They got both summoners.
So, yeah. Really all they gotta do is burst that Xayah, but unless it's going to be the Sejuani who is getting bursted there by PERTINAX, as Cryo has a nice ultimate there, dealing a lot of damage to the rest of AURORA, who have to get back there. Only Bondo really in danger on the side of PERTINAX, as they are going for that soul point here.
Yeah, and without jungle you can't really contest it anymore. So the engage from Proda was well timed, because Merlin needed to flash and ghost out of the bowler. So it was a good try, but in the end, I mean, that's why he has summoner, so he was safe enough in this situation. And after that, Proda died. It's such a close 1v1. Yeah, Azorop even needs to flash out, so the top lane 1v1 isn't that good anymore. He is. I thought he was even like 1k behind or something. So at least something there for Octillarial. But it's really difficult at the moment because you can't really reach Creo, especially like with his ultimate, and he still has flash, he still has cleanse. So just engaging him takes a lot of resources, and that could be really difficult for Aurora right now.
Yeah, I think also like everyone that would try to kill Kaiwo has to go on a suicide mission. I mean, Haxu could try to flash in Tibbers and burst him. Ooh, little bit of bad luck there with the red buff who is resetting.
That's funny. Yeah, it's really like you can't really engage her because every single Bola just will get ulted and every single hook as well. So like those skill shots are just instantly countered by the Sire, and even if you get them, like both are cleansable. So I if Creo wants to play it really aggressively, he could just bait and cleanse out of it, but now the dive.
Dive here onto Merlin from Aurora. Hook is missing there, but it doesn't really matter as Tibbers is coming in, and this is only a question of time until Merlin is going to go down. There Haxu a little bit lower as than he would like to be, I think, but the dive is successful. However, cross map, there is PERTINAX isn't sleeping and they are securing that Baron for themselves. Will now go after Octomalus there on the top lane, will get that kill as well for their bot lane tower, which of course with the bounty has some nice gold in pocket there for Aurora, but I don't think it will be enough to counter the dragon and also the top lane dive and tower that PERTINAX is getting here. So yeah, in general, PERTINAX really ramping up the speed here, making sure that they stay ahead and expanding their lead to 6k gold by now.
Yeah, and Creo just is a monster right now. And I don't see a world where they can really kill Sire. Maybe here.
Next engage here onto Kaiwo. That's exactly the objective you want to get. Ultimate is out now as well, and there is the kill on him. Shutdown is it going to be? Now they go right after Makala. Aurora having tasted blood now, having lost also only their support so far. However, have to disengage here. Ooh, Lawn gets a juicy Q from Jace there.
Yeah, but the biggest problem of this engage is that Sejuani got the 1k shutdown there from the Sire, so most of the gold just going to the tank. I mean, yeah, it's fine, maybe she gets tank enough to like engage now or something, but like this 1k on the Aphelios or this 1k on the Annie, for example, would make really a big difference, so it's kind of unlucky.
Yeah, but I think the more important thing is not that you who gets the gold. Of course, it's a little bit unlucky, but the most important thing was to stop the tempo, the rhythm PERTINAX had there. Sejuani kind of dashing a little bit into her own death there. A little bit of a vision problem. But yeah, they were able to stop the push from PERTINAX with the Baron buff, and that's the most important thing here.
And the summoners. I mean, especially now the Soul is spawning and Xayah lost both summoners. I mean, that's a huge thing, especially now for Sejuani, especially now for Haxu. Like, they can just try to flash on her, they can just try to kill her because she has no defensive tools right now. And that should definitely be the target for all of them. Even though it could be still dangerous, but they should 100% fight the Soul. And like, Aatrox is already really late to the Drake party, so he needs to run to be even there in time. And I don't know if he will be there.
Yeah, is on his way now. It's going to work out for him. Woda, however, called out there a little bit on the bot lane. Kind of not with his team, which is of course not optimal for the position of Aurora here. Getting also a good Q there from Jace. Looking 3 people from their team. and every single bush is warded by PERTINAX. They have eyes on everything that's happening here. There's the hook coming in onto Haxu. Bondo, however, the one falling for it. Now Aurora is in an advantage here. They are 3 against 4. Border ultimate hitting nicely, however, they are not able to get another kill from that. Haxu now using his W there to load up his stun as they are starting the dragon. But of course, Makala is still up and will get the steal there. So the soul is going to PERTINAX here, but the team fight might be going to Aurora as Cairo is very, very low there already. Lorne does get the kill. Dusseldrop also quite low. Can defend himself with the Q, however, Haxu has to turn off of him. And here we have Border and Lorne on the one for Merlin. Border does get stunned there. And with that also there. Probably not another kill, but beautifully played defensive from Aurora. They are winning the team fight, lost, however, the soul, unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's the big downside of this play. Otherwise, and like there's a really important rule in League of Legends, red and white, you don't want to fight. Aphelios with those two guns with red and white just is super strong. I mean he just like demolishes you, and like you should saw all those chakrams and stuff, and in the end even like Gale forced behind Creo to not get plate colored, and just amazingly played by him, but by the whole team. Especially like it all started out with Bondo hooking someone and dying because of that. I mean, I think he hooked Taxu, and like that's just not a good target. She's really, really tanky. And after that, he was just instantly dead. And then there was a good bowler on Merlin, so they can engage him now for free because there's no flash, there's no ghost. So the next bowler could be lethal. And Creo has no cleanse at the moment, so he could be a target as well, maybe.
Does have his flash, however, back up, so that advantage is gone for Aurora, but I think they can be very happy with that last fight. They also managed to make that gold lead smaller. It has been 6k, now it's only 4k left. They still have bounties up, of course, so if they were to push the tower here or maybe get the next baron or something, but of course that's all quite unlikely currently still. I think more likely is that they will find a good fight here. Maybe this one. Border, nice engage there. Cairo already very low. The focus is working here for Aurora as they do not get the kill from Cairo. And PERTINAX is of course now able to turn this around. They will get the trash now as well. Verse was there, but Guardian Angel was stronger.
Yeah, and I think
Haxu in a little bit in a bad position there. Will maybe get the kill on Bondu, but will pay for it with it. Will of course pay for it with his life. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, and like two really important, not misplaced, but like Aurora just Octimalus, if they just find the Sejuani ult, could just instantly teleport there. I mean, he needs to communicate that, so the Dazzle drop can't stop him from that, so he can't just teleport. But if they just know, okay, we can engage that and just call his teleport, and he might get to you. And then especially like Haxu, I don't know where he was, but like yes, Ghost, just try to run to your team if you know that they fight, because like the biggest problem in this fight was the Guardian Angel, and you just needed to wait for it to come out. But then like there was a lot of damage from the other guys, so you couldn't just wait for the Tsaya, and then she could just reposition herself and just carry it after that. So I mean, the initial engage was good, but the engage after that was just not enough, and just a few is not having like the IE, for example, really hurts them right now, because like there is not that much damage at the moment. And with the IE, he would at least maybe even crit down a Kragas, for example, because like he can just burst him, Merlin can just burst him, and he really needs to like find the damage in those fights to maybe carry his team. And now he has the free items, so it could get better, but it's still a really, really difficult task. And I think one thing that might helps
that might help would be a kill here on the top lane as they're going after Dusseldrop, who already lost half his life. Oda still on the chase there, will get 1 or 2 more CCs there. Nice flash for the stun. Now the knockback, however. And Haxu, that's definitely going to be a kill there for Aurora, but they took a long time with it, and it was enough time for PERTINAX to clear that inhibitor there on the bot lane. Now Aurora finding Cairo there. They are definitely on a dangerous push here as Bondo is going in after them. Now they get Octomalus here called out. With that, Aurora losing an important member. Wada and Haxu in the mid lane have to be careful there as well as PERTINAX finds Lorne. Now the engage. Nice hook there onto Wada. And it's going to be the kill. Tibbers also nicely plays over the wall, but there we can just see that the damage from Tibbers alone by now isn't that impressive anymore. And another inhibitor falling into the hands of PERTINAX.
Yeah, big thing about the item build of Annie is that she doesn't really do a lot of damage with it. I mean, she went for Ari, for example. In most cases, at least from the Annies I saw on the LCK, they go for the first strike just to have a little bit more burst. Then, of course, like the item build, I mean, she really just builds a lot of damage over time items with those dots, but not like the big damage items you would really like to see on an Annie. So, really good turrets there to not get hooked. But yeah, it's just a really not strong item build to burst down. It's rather for those long fights, but especially in those 1 or 2 seconds she has to burst someone, it's just those items just don't do that much.
Yeah. Dusseldrop now pushing here on the top lane, of course has the advantage there against Atrox. And now the engage here at the Drake from Makala. Nice barrel already, but has to go into his Sonias as he gets a lot of damage now. And that's the jungler down from PERTINAX, but Cairo dealing so much damage with these feathers. Gets 1 kill after the other. Aphelios going down, then treasures the next one as we quickly skip to the top lane where Dusseldrop and Octomalus are also engaging into a fight for their lives, and it is Dusseldrop who is going to winning. With that, it's only going to be Haxu left, who is dying as well. Boda by now has respawned, is able to kill off Dusseldrop there, but will probably pay for it with his life. And that's going to be the win for PERTINAX here, as they're going to take down the Nexus in the 33rd minute of this game and secure a win and another step towards playoffs.
Yeah, we will play played by them. And I mean, you saw a really big step from Cairo. I think he played the Seraphine last game, and like having such a strong ADC player on an ADC really makes a big difference. Because normally, like on the Seraphine, he can't just not kite and like kill them all. Yeah. And on this, I mean, on this Sire, he really just showed us that he is just a really insane ADC, and everything worked out for him. So I would rather want him on an ADC for the next upcoming games, in my opinion.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm personally a little bit sad for Aurora, because I feel like they showed that they have potential and they knew how to interact, like how to play this. They had the right focus, they knew they had to get Cairo out and then they could potentially win a fight. They also managed to do so once or twice, but I think it just has been too many of these little mistakes that PERTINAX was able to punish, and then in the end it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And now with that, we will go into a small break, I would say, because the next game, Rift versus Once Upon a Team, will start soon. So see you after a short break.